Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Well, we had a really fantastic weekend just behind us, and today we're going to break down UFC Fight Night 174. It's the last fight card from Abu Dhabi, 4 fights in a couple of weeks, and we had a fantastic main event between Robert Whittaker and Darren Till. It's going to be nice to invite Scott Holburn into the studio here via Zoom, and we'll break it down for you. So let me just put it on pause here quick, and we'll get Scott into the mix here. Hang on. Okay, yeah, we've got Scott Holburn on the line. Welcome. How are you? How was your weekend?
Really good. Awesome. How was yours?
Yeah, can't complain. The weather's just amazing still, and lots of great fights that we get to break down. So yeah, why don't we just get right into it? UFC Fight Night 174, Abu Dhabi, main event. A highly anticipated match between Robert Whittaker and Darren Till. I thought a lot of people thought it was just going to be an absolute war, but one of the most technical fights I've ever seen. They were really, really measured in their approach and didn't put themselves in any danger most of the time. What were your thoughts about this main event?
Yeah, I mean, Whittaker is coming off a long layoff, and Till knows this is an important fight for him. In that, realistically, the winner of this fight gets the winner of Adesanya and Paulo Costa. So, yeah, no one took a lot of risks. Things that surprised me though is how much bigger Darren Till is than Robert Whittaker. I mean, I know they both used to fight at 170, but I mean, Till. I mean, this is definitely the weight class he's got to be in for sure. But I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go from here, Darren Till. He had a good first round. He knocked Whittaker down there with that elbow, and then after that, Whittaker just made the necessary adjustments, and he brutalized that front calf of Till, so Till could barely walk on it, and Whittaker's speed was just too much for Till. So I mean, it's kind of one of those situations like Darren Till's a young kid. He's got a boatload of talent, but I just don't know where he goes from here. If he can't handle the speed and movement of Robert Whittaker, he's not going to be able to handle the speed and movement of Adesanya. I hate seeing fighters in this situation. It's kind of like Kelvin Gastelum. He's kind of like in no man's land, and that's kind of where Michael Bisping was for so many years. Right? Could never pull it through in that big fight that you need to pull through in. I mean, I feel bad for Darren Till. I mean, Whittaker was just faster, was a smart fighter. Some people had it 2-2 going into the fifth. I had it 3-1. I only had Till winning that first round, really.
Yeah.
The other ones, were close. Like you said, it was just nothing, wasn't the brawl that we were hoping for. But, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for Till because I just don't know where he's going to go from here. I mean, Whittaker looked awesome for a guy who got 2 years off almost or whatever it's been. He looked cool, relaxed. That looked like the best Robert Whittaker that we've seen in a long time. So I'd like to see Whittaker get the rematch with Adesanya or get the winner of Costa and Adesanya.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard some comments about it, and they said that possibly Whittaker didn't, have enough of a convincing victory. The UFC likes guys that'll go out there and bang and knock guys out, and so maybe he doesn't get that. But I just thought he fought a very smart fight, kept Darren on the outside. With those calf kicks and just so much movement, so much quick punches in and out. I mean, to me, it was a really impressive performance. But I think, a lot of times guys have to, have a really amazing performance, knockout of the night type of thing to, move up the ranks and have the UFC give them a shot. But Yeah, we'll see. That Paulo Costa Adesanya fight should be great. Paulo Costa is just a physical specimen and, incredibly tough. But Adesanya just seems at another level just with that quickness. His style is just so hard for guys to deal with. And I think Costa really only has a puncher's chance, just being able to land one of those big bombs on him. So yeah, what do you think about that match? It's going to be interesting, but I think Adesanya should take it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Adesanya's movement and his skill set is unparalleled with anyone else in that division. I mean, we haven't seen a guy like that since Anderson, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Costa. I mean, who knows? You say puncher's chance. It's hard to say, but right now, I know what you're saying with Whittaker, but right now and for the foreseeable future, it's going to be who's available to fight, who's going to fight, who's willing to fight, who's available to fight. We know Whittaker's available to fight, so
yeah.
I don't know who else you'd put up there. This was a huge opportunity for Darren Till. I mean, he's a guy that's only 2 fights in that division. I mean, he probably shouldn't be ranked as high as he is.
No.
But you got Hermanson, beating Gastelum. You got Gastelum who's kicking around, but they don't usually give guys a title shot off a loss.
No.
And you got Till and Whittaker. I mean, I don't know who else is available to fight in that middleweight division right now.
Yeah, I think Cannonier maybe, and
I think you're right. I think Jared Cannonier is going to be like an understudy almost for who, in case someone pulls out of the Adesanya fight. So Cannonier's there, and yeah, I mean, Whittaker, Cannonier, take a flip of a coin, but Whittaker I think deserves the. I thought it was a great performance. I think he deserves the winner of Adesanya Costa.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. So in the co-main event, we had these 2 Brazilian legends. I felt really bad. You say feeling really bad about Till, but I felt bad about Nogueira having this 3rd loss against Shogun and having to retire on a loss. I thought it was a great battle. 2 legends of the sport. Being able to come out and put on a great performance. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad the UFC put this on. I do feel bad for Nogueira though.
Yeah, I mean it was a better fight than I thought it was going to be. I mean, two old timers going at it, and they were throwing bombs at each other, and and Shogun wasn't afraid to take Nogueira down. I mean, Nogueira on the mat you think would have the advantage, but yeah, I thought it was a fun fight and really close. I mean, I had Shogun winning the fight too. I didn't have it being a split. I'm surprised it went to a split decision, but yeah, I mean, fun fight. I don't know if Nogueira you want to put him up against anyone higher ranked than Shogun right now, anyways. But Shogun's looking good.
Yeah.
He wants a rematch now with Paul Craig. It sounds like because they had that rematch I think in 2018. They went to a draw. Yeah, Shogun looked good.
Yeah, no, I was really impressed with him, and he's been really looking super solid in the last little while. At 38 years old, I think he's still got a lot of fight left in him, and yeah, I mean, I think they should give him the right matchups, and if he wants that Craig battle, Paul Craig fought on this card, and we'll get to it in a few minutes, but yeah,
I don't know why anyone wants to fight Paul Craig. Put it that way.
That guy's submission game is just phenomenal.
That guy's one scary dude. Holy smokes!
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I hear someone saying I want to fight Paul Craig. It's kind of like
a big surprise. Isn't it?
I want to get choked unconscious and thrown in a dumpster. I mean, it's like,
it's pretty amazing. Yeah. It's amazing when these guys make call-outs to these killers and these monsters that they will have to face. It's incredible. So yeah. But that fight was fun. I'm glad they did make it the co-main. It's nice that 2 Brazilian legends can face each other. They gave Nogueira that shot to try to avenge those couple of tough losses. They fought, I think it was 2005, 2015, and 2020. So it was a long stretch between fights for them. But it was good. I'm glad Shogun did it though. it's nice to see his career keep progressing up. And the fight that had a Brazilian legend on was Fabricio Verdum. And I was pretty shocked. Gustafsson didn't have much of an opportunity in his heavyweight debut. Verdum was just too slick in a submission game and took out the fight in 2.5 minutes. Poor Gustafsson there. Not the greatest debut I've ever seen.
No, it's funny. I'm disappointed because I wanted to see what he could do at heavyweight. He came in a lot heavier than I thought he was going to be, though. He came in at 240. I was expecting him to come in around, 230 at the most, the high 220s. So I wanted to see how his movement was going to be, but really disappointing. If a guy like Verdum's going to get a hold of you, I mean, you'll notice that as soon as Verdum broke the grip, he was tapping. I mean, because he doesn't want to, a guy like Verdum can break that arm pretty quick. So, it's disappointing. I would have liked to see Gustafsson because he's still young, 33. I hope this doesn't frustrate him too much. I mean, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him get a turnaround quick because he shouldn't have any kind of medical suspension from that. Verdum released the armbar pretty quick. So I'm hoping that he can fight again really soon.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, it was really disappointing. Maybe the UFC should have put him up against a striker and a guy that would have stood with him and wouldn't have done that submission.
It's who's available right now. It's who's available to fight right now, and who can come in and it's a crazy time. It is. It's insane. I mean, half the guys probably haven't been in camp since March, haven't been in the gym since March. So who's ready to go? Who can make weight? It's a difficult situation. That's why we're seeing so many new faces or old faces in some of these fights. So
I was definitely not the UFC heavyweight debut of the Mauler that I wanted to see, but Verdum still proved that he's got it. Verdum was talking about taking on Fedor Emelianenko again now, and that was pretty shocking news. He wants to do that. That really put Verdum on the map in the early days. He fought in Strikeforce and was able to give Emelianenko his first loss ever. And I don't know. I don't even know if Emelianenko's been fighting recently, but that was his call out. Shocked me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They've tried to sign Emelianenko before, and it just doesn't seem to ever want to happen. He goes somewhere, he goes somewhere like the EFN or Bellator or something. So, I'm not going to hold my breath to see Emelianenko anytime soon in the UFC.
No. Okay, well, let's switch to the women's fight, the women's strawweight fight between Carla Cookie Monster Esparza and Marina Rodriguez. Lots of damage inflicted on Esparza, but she was able to take the decision. Rodriguez really battered her eye and almost had it closed. But Esparza was super tough and took that decision. How'd you like that fight?
It was an entertaining fight, but Esparza, man, like she's lucky to have gotten out of there with the win. I mean, she went for the footlock twice. I mean, she went for a footlock with 1.5 minutes left, and with her back up, I mean, she couldn't even get down in position because she was so close against the cage. So, in that first, Rodriguez could have very easily stolen that first round from Esparza, who controlled her for 3.5 minutes, and then completely gave up position with 1.5 minutes for a reason I don't know why. And she did the same thing in the second.
Yeah.
And got beat up really badly. I mean, in the last 30 seconds. And Rodriguez could have stolen that round too. I mean, Esparza's lucky she got away with that win because I don't know. I mean, she made some bad choices in that fight, and I understand that she wants to keep it on the ground and go for a submission because Rodriguez is an outstanding Muay Thai kickboxer. She didn't want to stand with her, but she's got to make better decisions like that if she wants to, get back to title contention. Because that was not a good performance by Esparza. I mean, she controlled her really well with her wrestling, but she didn't inflict much damage on her. Her ground and pound wasn't that impressive. Rodriguez was cutting Esparza from the bottom with elbows up from the bottom. I mean, not a great fight for Esparza.
Yeah.
She's going to have to show a better performance next time around, I would think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Yeah, Rodriguez was damaging her, and it was a split decision. Carla's lucky to get out of it, but wow, did she ever take some serious damage at the end of those rounds? Yeah.
I mean, how did you score that fight? I mean, honestly, like, I think Rodriguez stole the first round, and I almost thought she stole the second round. If it was any longer than 30 seconds, I think she would have stolen that round.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought Esparza handled most of the round. I just didn't think it was enough time left for Rodriguez to, take it away from her, because she had, dominated for 3-4 minutes of the round. So, I mean, yeah, it was close, but being a judge, I think I would have given it to Esparza on it. It turned out to be a split decision. So, obviously one judge saw it differently, but it was strange that Esparza abandoned what was working for her and went
twice.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, like twice to do it twice. She should have learned her lesson, and that the first time, she was taking some serious damage. And
well, you heard her corner and between the second and third, just scream at her about the footlock to stop.
Yeah, please don't do this.
And they even just said, just lay on her for the third round. I mean, I don't know. I was really excited to see Esparza. She's kind of, been impressive the last few fights, but I think I need to see more out of her the next one.
Sure, of course, yeah. Well, you mentioned Paul Craig earlier. This is the time when we can talk about his submission win. Antigulov, tough guy, but holy cow, Craig, Jesus, man, that guy has a submission game. Light heavyweights better look out. He wants to rip your arm off, rip your leg off. He's a tough guy. Oh man, and I love his post-fight interviews too. He's a great guy.
Oh, he's hilarious. He's great. And you know what? One thing I love about Paul Craig, other than that Shogun fight, which went to I think it went to a draw or a split draw or something like that, I don't think he's ever been in a fight that's gone the distance. Yeah. He's either getting knocked out or he's putting someone unconscious. I mean, he's a guy that will constantly go for it. And he is a scary, scary dude. I mean, he is a scary, scary dude. And I love watching him fight. I mean, I think it's a strange call out for Shogun to want to go down that road again. But look, I'll watch that fight.
Yeah, definitely. I love the stare down that he gave him. Did you see how far across the cage he came? And one official had to pull him back because he was looking like, oh, this guy might just attack him before the fight even begins. It was a pretty scary looking stare down. One of the most scary ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, and he's a guy, he goes for it. I mean, that's why he's a guy that when he wins by submission. When he loses, he gets knocked out, because he's a guy that's constantly going for it. He's fun to watch. He's great for the sport. I hope to see him again soon, because he didn't take any damage against that fight, and so hopefully he doesn't have any kind of medical suspension where we can see him again soon.
Yeah. I never really knew what the nickname Bear Jew meant until the other night I was watching Inglourious Bastards, and the Bear Jew was one of the main characters in that movie. I don't know if it's based on something, actual real in life before, but watching Inglourious Bastards again briefly and see this Bear Jew was a guy that was a pretty lethal character in that movie. And I don't know if that's where he gets the name from, or it was an actual person that lived back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not going to question it. That guy can call himself anything he wants right now.
No kidding.
But yeah, it was really impressive triangle, and he's fun to watch. Yeah. He's exciting. I mean, your blood starts to pump when you see him walking out and getting into the octagon there. So I want to see him again soon.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, he's one of my favorite fighters these days. So now we turn to the welterweight fight between Alex Cowboy Oliveira and Peter Soboda. The Alex looked really, really good. He, had some lethal kicks, kept him on the outside. Really, really good technical fight as well. He got the unanimous decision, and Oliveira looked impressive in my opinion. How about you?
Oh, he looked outstanding, absolutely outstanding. He used that front deep kick to the stomach and really slowed Sabata down. He looked great. I mean, he had a run there where he had lost 3 in a row. So now he's got a 2-win winning streak with his last fight against Sabota and then Max Griffin before that. But yeah, he had lost to Dalby and Mike Perry and Gunnar Nelson, 3 outstanding fighters. So he's learned a lot. He was pretty cautious, but he was lots of movement. He controlled the fight and, never really gave Sabota much of a chance. That teep kick was outstanding. And Sabota was he looked as red as my shirt right now. You know what I mean? By the time he was finished, in terms of not just from the cut, but from the shots he took to his stomach and chest.
Yeah. He just kept taking them and keeping them on the outside. Just amazing kicks.
And Sabota didn't have any answer for it. So, I mean, I think he probably should have moved to start working that front leg of Alex Oliveira, but it's tough. You could see that it was getting to him, and he just had no answer for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the last fight on the main card was the second fight in 10 days for Khamzat Chimaev, facing a newcomer, Rhys McKee, making his UFC debut. And Chimaev absolutely dominated his last fight 10 days ago, set a UFC record for the fastest or the shortest distance or time span shortest turnaround between victories. And he absolutely just dominated him, take him down almost immediate, and just dominated ground and pound. And the guy's got more confidence than I've heard from almost anybody. He thinks he's gonna take the belt really, really soon and wants to have 2 belts on his mantle. He looks like a scary contender in this division.
Yeah, I mean, he fought Rhys McKee, who's a newcomer kickboxer. So obviously, a guy like a kickboxer is gonna have a hard time against a grappler like Chimaev. But this kid, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's hype or what, but I can tell you this: he's very intelligent the way he's handling the UFC. He got his shot. He said, "I'm going to stay in Abu Dhabi. You put me on, fight anyone you want. I'll fight at 155. I'll fight at 170." Now he said to the UFC, "I want to keep fighting. I'll fight again." And he's called out. You see who he called out? He's called out Michael Chiesa if he wants to fight in 155. Or he said, "Who's a better grappler?" And he called out Damian Maia. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a better grappler in the world than Damian Maia. I mean, Damian Maia is now in his early 40s, but, he's a world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He's an Abu Dhabi ADDC champion. I mean, to call out a guy like Damian Maia and ask him who's a better grappler. And he's smart, though. I mean, he's calling out guys who he thinks that will, if he beats Damian Maia, that's an immediate stamp on his resume that no one can take away. Michael Chiesa has been a solid 155-pound fighter for a long time, so he's smart in the way he's handling it, and the UFC is all in.
Yeah, they seem to be all in right away, and to give him this shot like this, the UFC doesn't really do that. Doesn't give people turnaround fights this fast, other than maybe Cowboy, and it's super impressive. But we'll see. He'll have to step up in competition. He talks a really good game, and those first 2 performances were fantastic. And he's a smart guy. He's well spoken. There's I think that the sky's the limit for him in the early stages, as long as he can keep having these incredible performances.
I mean, I think it's pretty crazy that he's calling out for a belt in 155 when Khabib Nurmagomedov is the champion. He's not going to out grapple Khabib. I mean, I don't know. Is Chimaev from that Eagles camp? I don't know.
I don't believe so. No, I'm pretty sure he's not. No,
because I think Khabib will have something to say about that. Another Russian fighter saying he's the best grappler out there, because there's no one better than Nurmagomedov right now. And but I mean, you know what? Let him run with it, and the UFC is gonna let him run with it, and let's see where he goes. I mean, I'd like to see the Chiesa fight personally. Chimaev has said 155 is his division, so I like guys. I mean, I think it's great when guys were willing to fight in 2 divisions, but I'd like to see him fight Chiesa. Chiesa's a good striker. He's got good submission skills. I think that'd be a good fight for him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's hope they can put it together. Yeah. So now we turn to the prelim card, and we get to a controversial fight. There's been some media talk about it because Dan Hardy was, calling out Herb Dean for not stopping this fight fast enough. Francisco Trinaldo knocked out Jay Herbert, and he really knocked him down. Very solid. Herbert had his hands up, but I think he wasn't there for a short time. I don't know how long, but Herb Dean was right on the scene, looking right into the fighter's eyes. Right, perfect position to see what he should do. All of a sudden, Dan Hardy started yelling, "Stop the fight! Stop the fight!" And I don't think it was right. I don't think Hardy should be doing that. That's Herb Dean's call, the doctor's call, or his own corner. It was controversial, but I don't think anything was wrong with the way Herb handled it. How about you?
Well, a couple of things. One, I thought Herb Dean handled it poorly. That guy was out. But you're right. Dan Hardy, who I loved him as a fighter, and I think he's one of the best color commentators in the UFC. I mean, him and Joe Rogan and Paul Felder. But having him and Paul Felder on the same card was a real treat that night. I mean, Dan Hardy can't be yelling out "Stop the fight" like he's freaking Adrian in Rocky. I mean, like, he can't be doing that. I mean, let's be honest here. And at the time when Paul Felder, I thought Paul Felder was telling Hardy to stop at first when I first watched it, because they had to. We'll get to it, but when we get to talk to the Tanner Boser fight, I think they thought that Herb Dean was a little late on stopping that fight. So, Dan Hardy's yelling, "Stop the fight," like Adrian. And Paul Felder said, "That's the second time, man." And I thought he was saying, "Now's not the time." I thought he was saying to Dan Hardy, "Now's not the time, man." Like, I thought he was telling Dan Hardy not to be yelling that. But he was actually agreeing with them. But Dan Hardy can't do that. I mean, there's cornermen, there's doctors, there's other people that are responsible for stopping the fight. And Herb, you can't have people yelling "Stop the fight," like, when your job is to color commentate the fight. I understand. I think he's absolutely right. I think the fight should have been stopped. The way I keep calling him Jay Hebert because being a Canadian, but the way he went down, that guy was out. I mean, and of course, I'm watching on TV. I'm not there. I can't see his eyes. That fight should have been stopped immediately, especially when Trinaldo gets over top of him, looks down at him, and then looks. I mean, there was a long pause there. That should never happen. But yeah, I mean, I think Dan Hardy was wrong. I think Herb Dean should have stopped it sooner. And I thought Francisco Trinaldo was a real sportsman in the way he handled the situation, in that he didn't immediately go in there and, Dan Henderson him, when he could have very well could have, he handled it well. And, I don't think he gave big shots to Hebert there when he was on the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Hardy, he can't do that. And I think the subject should be left. I know the UFC said they're going to investigate it, and I'm sure the commission's going to look at it, but they should just leave it alone as an emotional. That's why we love Dan Hardy, because he was an emotional fighter. Yeah. He's an emotional commentator, and he gives it all, and he's awesome at it. I want to see him continue doing it. I don't want to see any interruption in that. But yeah, he can't yell out "Stop the fight."
No, and I think the thing that actually escalated it was when Herb Dean came out of the cage. He confronted him, started screaming and yelling at him, and they had a bit of a confrontation outside the cage.
And Herb Dean handled that well.
Yeah. If he would have left it at that, okay, my bad, sorry, I shouldn't be yelling that much, especially with no fans. that's going to get into Herb Dean's ears, and he's going to have to take his focus away from the actual fighter being down on the ground. Is he going to look at the corner? Is it his corner that's calling that? Is it the doctor that's yelling that? And his attention should be on the down fighter. Dan Hardy was wrong yelling and screaming that out, because how does Herb Dean know where that's coming from? Not fair. And also to confront him and start belittling him and saying, this has happened twice on this card, and what's wrong with Herb Dean and all this kind of stuff. I thought Dan Hardy handled it wrong. I do agree. He's a great analyst, and hopefully he won't be disciplined by being taken off these cards. But he's got to keep on his job, which is commentating on the fight, and step away from yelling that type of stuff into the cage when Herb Dean is one of the most legendary long-term referees that has been on almost every card that we've seen in the past 10-15 years, and he knows what he's doing. There are mistakes people make, but I've tried to watch and tried to see how Herb Dean saw the actual knockdown. I've wondered how when he came around and looked down into his eyes, obviously, as you said, Trinaldo stood over him for a few seconds and just sort of gave Herb an opportunity to stop it right then and there. When he looked at him and realized he wasn't, he had to put a couple more shots in. But it's too bad that it went down the way it went down. I hope Dan Hardy can just keep his emotions in check in a way that isn't yelling something into the cage and forcing the possibility of because that honestly could damage a fighter worse, because Herb might look over to try to see if it's his corner people calling that or it's a doctor. And, there could be some really heavy damage. If Trinaldo was hyped up and not, being that sportsman that you said, and it was inflicting more damage, we could see something a lot more serious. So it's not something that, Dan Hardy has any right to, get involved in what's happening in the cage. His job is to be on the outside telling us what he sees and give his analysis. So.
Yeah, and the other disappointing thing about this is now it overshadows what was a really impressive fight. I mean, Francisco Trinaldo, he got a lucky, I'm going to call it a lucky punch. But what I can say is that Jay Hebert, what a good fighter that guy is. Holy smokes. I mean, up until 3 minutes and 30 seconds into that third and final round, he controlled that fight from the opening buzzer. I mean, his striking looked fantastic. His movement was awesome. He got caught, and he got caught badly. But that kid's got a great future ahead of him. Holy smokes!
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
He was
overshadowed the whole fight. We didn't even get into talking about the fight. And,
but we should. I mean, I thought that kid looked great, absolutely amazing. I mean, like I said, he got caught in a freak punch, and I think he was actually looking for a finish because he had Trinaldo backing up and cut, and he controlled that entire fight, and he looked like a pro. Didn't look like a guy making his UFC debut. Really impressed, and it's too bad it ended the way it did. I think he probably should have deserved to win that fight, and Trinaldo had no business winning that fight. But again, that's the fight game, right? It goes until the end, and you can't stop with 10 seconds left, as we saw, last week with that women's fight. It was a crazy time, but yeah, I think keep an eye on Jay Hebert going forward.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Glad you mentioned that. Okay, now we get into a welterweight battle between Jesse Ronson and Nicholas Dalby. And wow, Jesse Ronson looked really great. It's great to see this Canadian guy. He got a $50,000 bonus for this submission. And I was really happy for the guy. He's had a long, hard road back. And he had 3 split decision losses in his last UFC stint, and then left the organization for many years. I think it's been about 6-7 years, and finally got an opportunity to get back at it and looked great.
Yeah, I mean, he beat a tough guy. I mean, Nicholas Dalby. I mean, Dalby looked good too coming into that fight. Holy smokes, his movement looked great. Dalby had just beaten Oliveira before that, and I mean, he's a guy who went
Unbeaten in
to
his last five. He was coming in unbeaten in his last five, Dolby, and looking really, really
and
solid.
he's a guy too that went to a draw with Darren Till. I mean, he's a guy who's a solid fighter. So this is a huge feather in Ronson's cap to. I mean, when the fight started, I thought it was going to be all Dalby. So, I thought it was great, to see the Canadian kid from London, Ontario, and he looked great. I mean, it jumped on the opportunity and finished the fight. I mean,
no, really took advantage and looked really great. The only thing that disappointed me was I heard that he went into Mark Hominick's camp with Sam Stout and all those guys, and it took him 6 years to actually be accepted. And I'm like, 6 years? Like, why would it take that long? That's horrible. That's not cool. He should have changed camps much before that. If guys aren't willing to, accept him and help him and, keep them part of their camp. Wow, 6 years is that's horrible. I didn't like that at all. I hope there's more of a backstory.
I'm sure there's more. I mean, there's got to be more of a backstory to that. Anyone who's been in any kind of martial arts gym knows that it's a real family feel, and usually in these places. I mean, and like I said, he in his last stint with the UFC. I mean, he had decisions against Francisco Trinaldo and Kevin Lee. I mean, those guys are top fighters. Kevin Lee back then, 2000, I think that was in 2016 or 2014 even. Kevin Lee was, top of his game, and he's still a great fighter. And, he deserved another shot, and he took advantage of it. And you could tell that when he knocked Dalby down, he was going to get on him, and there was no way he was going to. That was a bunch of frustration being squeezed into Dalby's neck there. I'm sure he was not going to let go of him.
Yeah, and speaking of the way he was frustrated, he was just in the post-fight interview. I really loved it. He said, "Hey, there's two guys that all they do is eat lettuce, and I'm really sick of these skinny little guys. I really want to take them out." He called out Luis Pena and Jalen Turner, and he said, he's going to smash them. He doesn't like these tall, skinny guys. He doesn't think they should be in his division, so he wants to clean them out. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good opportunity for fighters, right? I mean, he probably wouldn't have gotten a shot back in the UFC if it wasn't the scenario where they need fighters who's available, who can fight, who they can, get to travel. And so, he's smart. He's calling guys out and wants to keep moving on. And that's what you got to do in this situation. He just beat a solid fighter with Dalby, and he wants to go with that momentum.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit of a shock to me because he always fights at 155. That was a weight class up. Dalby is super solid at 170, and UFC veteran. So this was not normal, like you say. He made himself available. Fought. He said, I'll fight wherever I have to, and put on a great performance. And I think this will get him a legitimate shot. Hopefully, he can sign a 3-4 fight deal and have an opportunity to keep solidified in this division, or move to 155 and stay there. And hopefully they give him a shot. He said he went through hell and back over these years. Said it was really tough, losing his shot at the pros at the the top level, and he had to go back and fight on the regional circuits, and I'm super happy he's back, and it's nice to see another Canadian do really well, and plus get his $50,000 bonus. That's got to really, really help a guy. Especially when, fighting on regionals. Like,
for sure. I mean, he needs to stay at 155. I mean, at 5'9", he's just a little bit small to be fighting at 170. Dalby's a small 170 also. So, I think 155 would be better off for him to go back down to the lightweight division for sure.
Yeah, you're right. We have a heavyweight fight to break down here. Tom Aspinall against Jake Collier.
To break down.
Not a lot to talk about, but Jake Collier actually fought at 185. 205, and now he's up to the heavyweight fight. He's called the prototype, and he was 264 coming in here. I don't know. Just definitely think he should keep himself in a bit better shape. But Aspinall, holy cow, man, quick knockout there, 45 seconds. Super impressive performance.
Yeah, Collier is kind of one of those guys. He's like one win, one loss, one win, one loss. So, it's hard to judge a guy with his debut. Fighting a guy like that who's kind of, multiple weight classes and that. But Aspinall looked good. I mean, he jumped on, he's fast, he moved well, and, let's see what he can do next. I mean, it's not much to say in that fight. It was pretty quick, 45 seconds.
Boom. Yeah. Well, it was a very impressive knee to knock him off balance, stuck a jab in his face, and then just a right cross that knocked him down, and then just jumped on him until the fight was stopped. So, I mean, super accurate, really quick, took no damage at all. So, should be able to do a quick turnaround and get an opportunity. And, I think there is a lot of potential for this Aspinall guy. And, we'll see what they give him next. Collier, I don't know. He's got to get himself in better shape. I tried to look back at some of his older fights, and whoa, he looks like a completely different guy. I can't believe, putting on 80 pounds, it's going to change the look of you. And geez, he was, he wasn't in it very long. So we'll see where he goes from here. This featherweight fight between Mozar Elvilev and Mike Grundy. Elvilev looked super good, and it took a decision win. Still undefeated. What are your thoughts about him?
Well, I mean, Mike Grundy, I mean, he must have been one frustrated guy at the end of that fight. I mean, this guy is a champion freestyle wrestler, and has also won some high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments too. So he came close to finishing that fight in that first round. That Darce choke he had, I mean, that was tight. I mean, Elvilev, I mean, I can't believe he's able to fight through that. I mean, he twisted his body in a way to, push himself off of Grundy, to get out of it. Then after that, he just controlled the fight, from that point on, and he looked great. I mean, those Russian fighters, man. I mean, they're really impressive. And Grundy, you could see him just getting frustrated. He couldn't get any more takedowns, and he was losing the striking battle. I mean, Grundy's a solid. I mean, I don't think that guy had lost in years. And for Elvilev to defeat a guy like Grundy, I mean, that's going to be a huge confidence booster, especially to get out, to be able to stick his takedowns the way he did, and to get out of that Darce choke, because that was tight.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It was unbelievable. I thought, we were going to see him go out, or, I just thought, there's no way he's getting out of it. And somehow he, just manipulated his body and pulled away. But Grundy just didn't seem, as the fight wore on, Grundy just didn't seem to have an answer. He got his takedown stuff so much, and he just started getting beat up on the feet. And it was, super impressive performance. And, I think Grundy's a great fighter, like you say, but Mozar just had his number that fight, and just couldn't be beat. So we get to another. Oh, you want to say something about that?
You gotta remember, Grundy has like won almost all his fights by submission. He's got 3 fights, three wins by Darce choke. So I mean, this guy, to have a guy break out of your number one hold when early in the fight, early in that first round, when you're dry and you should be in your lots of energy in your arms to get that squeeze on. Yeah, that must have just been a little bit deflating for him, and he just wasn't able to come back.
No, yeah, too bad. Yeah,
but Grundy, I mean, this is not, something that he's a great fighter, and he's going to be an exciting guy to keep an eye on. I mean, again, young kid, got a good future ahead of him.
Oh yeah, no, it shouldn't be too much of a setback for him. No, he looked great. It was just, it just wasn't his day. So. We want to talk about another Canadian, Tanner Boser. He had a fight about a month ago. I think it was June 20th or something like that. And all of a sudden got a quick turnaround and was able to get another huge KO. I know we mentioned it a little earlier because you said Herb Dean was part of that, and maybe should have called it early. But great to see the Edmonton kid get another KO victory.
Yeah, I mean, he moves like a light heavyweight. I mean, he looks good out there. I mean, he was going up against a heavy hitter with Pessoa, and I mean, Boser looked great. He was able to use his movement to move in and out, and he was able to land some good calf kicks, and then got that, I think it was a right hand where actually the knuckle got Pessoa's eye a bit. And I think that's why they were mad because, Pessoa, when he weighed down, he had his hands up. There's no way he was going to be able to continue. And Boser, he didn't waste any time. He wasn't like Francisco Trinaldo. He jumped on that guy. And I think that's why they thought the fight should have been stopped a bit earlier. But Boser looks good. I want to keep seeing him fight more and more because he's got such great movement for a heavyweight.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, he doesn't move like a normal heavyweight. He said, he had
closes the distance really well.
Yeah, and he said he had to employ that style. He said, did you see the size of the monster I had to fight? The guy was just so much bigger than him. But he said he felt the knock or the knuckle go into his eye. So he didn't think it was an open fist eye poke or anything. So just get on the guy and finish it off, and that's what he did. And and then he called out Maurice Green again. I think there's no way they can't make that fight after 2 call-outs, 2 victories in a month for him. That'll be fun. It's another big boy, but maybe this speed advantage will keep working in his favor.
Yeah, and Maurice Green is down there training in Albuquerque, so getting him into Vegas to fight anytime soon should be really doable. And I think Boser's one of those guys, and he's using this opportunity to keep the momentum going, and he's not going to let anyone else get in there and steal his name. And we need it. We need to shake up the heavyweight division. You've kind of got the stagnant 4 there in the top of the division. So it'd be nice to see some new blood get in there.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely. Yeah. So. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Ramazan Emeev and Nicholas Stolze fight? It was a really great battle, I thought. Stolze trains with Sabota and, really wanted to put on a great performance. Another Russian with Emeev, decision victory. What stands out for you with that fight?
These guys, their work ethic is just unparalleled. These Russian fighters are always moving forward, always looking for control. Always, it's like they're machines. They don't have, they don't stop and take a breath at all for at any moment. So it's always fun to watch them and keep those Eagles camp guys and the Russian guys coming. I mean, I think it's that as long as they're going to have fights in Abu Dhabi, which they're going to, especially if the U.S. Numbers the way they are, a good chance we'll see him again soon. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. No, I don't think we've ever seen this much dominance from Russians. So many guys coming from over there, and it's probably due to some of the early success that guys have been having, and Khabib doing so well. All of a sudden, they're giving all these guys opportunities and shots, and they're just super impressive, amazing on the ground. Just anywhere the fight goes, most of them seem to be super dominant. Like you say, great fuel tanks and
unbelievable.
Yeah, just amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, in the U.S. they're trying to always fight at altitude or in the supreme heat and things like that. But I don't know what they're doing in Russia. But oh my God, the gas tanks for these guys just seem unlimited, and they're not even breathing hard. 3rd round. The other guys gassed out already, and they're able to just take it over. So, I don't think Russian UFC fighters have ever been more dominant, and it's it's just showing week after week after week. So, great card. I enjoyed it. I think it was the most fights on a UFC card in something crazy like 15 years or something. They just stacked it because it was the last card in Abu Dhabi, and for
For
most of
now.
these, the last four of the 4 fights they were having on Fight Island. So they just stacked it. The most fights on the main card, and then the prelims too. I think it was 6.5 hours long, so really long stretch to watch all those fights that day. But now the UFC turns back to Vegas. They're going back to this Apex, and we've got a fight night coming up with Brunson and Shahbazyan. I think this is going to be a pretty impressive performance by both guys. I think Brunson's got way more experience, has faced way more high-level competition than Shahbazyan. Shahbazyan comes out of the Rousey camp and has looked pretty impressive. That head kick knockout of Tavares was great, in my opinion, but I don't know. I think this might be too much of a step up in competition against Brunson. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not a big Edmen Shahbazyan fan, to be honest with you. I think he hurt Travis Brown's career rather than helped it. I think this is I'm happy to be wrong, but I think Brunson's a guy who's hungry fighter. He wants to make a statement. He's constantly always on the cusp of breaking out and breaking through as a top guy in that division. So I think it's going to be a little too much of a step up for him. He wants, he's had those back-to-back losses versus Jacare and then Adesanya, two unbelievable fighters. So he's beaten guys like Thurdo, Machida. Look who he's lost to. He's lost to Robert Whittaker, Anderson Silva, Jacare, and Adesanya.
And Romero, and Romero.
Oh, they lose Romero, but he's beaten guys like Uriah Hall. He's beaten Sam Alvey, Ed Herman. He's
Lyoto Machida and Theodoru and lots of impressive array of guys that he's fought, like some of the best in the sport in that weight class. So I think Shahbazyan's biting off more than he can chew, probably.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, I've never been I'm not an Edmen Shahbazyan fan. The problem is when fighters in that camp seem to get into trouble, he is unable to get them out of trouble. I mean, tells Ronda Rousey she's doing great striking against Holly Holm after that first round. Stuff like that. It's just,
Yeah. No, I think he unfortunately mismanaged Ronda Rousey's career in the end, and
and mismanaged Travis Brown. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think Brunson's gonna be the winner of that fight for sure.
Yeah. And then the co-main event is a bit of a surprising fight because Joanne Calderwood had a title fight in her sights and had agreed to fight Valentina Shevchenko, and then that fight got postponed a couple times, and all of a sudden Calderwood's now fighting the Brazilian Jennifer Maia. I don't think it's a smart move on Calderwood's part, but maybe she needs the money, maybe she wants to keep fresh. This could be a little scary. Maia's a pretty tough Brazilian.
Absolutely. And do we know what's going on with Valentina Shevchenko? Do we know why this fight was postponed? I mean, obviously Calderwood's willing to fight. She's willing to keep fighting. The only thing I could question is that something is up with I don't know if Shevchenko's got an injury or she's just not going to fight until COVID's under control. I don't know. I haven't been able to sort of figure that out, and I haven't been able to find any information about that. So it was a surprise to me.
I don't think anything's been released on it. She just made an announcement in June that she wasn't going to be fighting for a while, and that was it. That was all that was released. So I don't know. It's too bad for Calderwood because she was going to get that shot. I don't think she was going to be able to beat Valentina, but it's always nice to get an opportunity at the belt, and you're going to get more money. You're going to get a lot more eyeballs on you. I'm surprised that she's taking this fight, but we'll see if she made the right call.
I mean, she should be able to beat Maia. I mean, Maia's lost to Carmouche and Chukagian.
They both lost to Chukagian, both fighters. Right. So
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I think that she needed to just needed to keep fighting, and it should be interesting to see. I mean, Calder was one of those fighters that was, again, one of those fighters you just didn't really know where her head was at, but she's looked good as of late. She found a good home at 125. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think she should be able to handle Maya, but like you said, anytime you put yourself in that kind of position against a Brazilian, who's both a great Muay Thai fighter as well as a great jiu-jitsu fighter, it's dangerous for sure.
Yeah. Well, Maya's been fighting, mixed martial arts since 2009. She's, beat Roxanne Metafari twice, Alexis Davis. She beat Jessica Andrade. That's years ago now, but, Andrade is a killer. She was the Invicta champion. She trains out of Shoot to Box, one of the best, fight camps in the world in Brazil. Calderwood's looked pretty good. Over the Andrea Lee fight was good. She beat Lipsky, who, had an amazing fight recently.
But she has troubles with some of those grapplers. I mean, she lost to Calvillo, she lost to Andrade. She lost to Moroz by armbar. It's you're right. It's a dangerous fight for her, and it just depends on where her head's at. I mean, when Joanne Calderwood shows up, she looks outstanding. But when she has a bit of adversity against her, especially in that Moroz fight, she just didn't look like herself. It's hard to say. Again, she probably wants to keep fighting, keep relevant. But yeah, it's a dangerous position to put yourself in. And Maya's coming off a loss, I think, if memory serves me correctly. So, she's going to be hungry for a win.
Yeah, I think she's coming off that Chukagian loss. So, let's hope Calderwood made the right decision. And she's another fighter that I really enjoy her post-fight interviews. Another Scottish fighter that's got a great accent, and I really liked it when she trained at TriStar. I got to talk to some of the TriStar guys that trained her, and they thought the world of her. And I like her. I just hope this is a smart decision. It would be tough to have a title shot in your grasp and have it derailed with an unfortunate loss here. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Turn to a welterweight fight between Vicente Luque, and Randy Brown. Luque, the silent assassin, I think should take this fight. He beat Nico Price recently. Randy Brown has lost to Nico Price. Luque beat Platinum, beat Bilal Muhammad, Chad Laprise, and Brian Barberina. Luque's looked pretty strong. He did lose to Wonder Boy, but no slouch there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Luque's last two losses were Wonder Boy and Leon Edwards. I mean, look at the guys he's fighting. You said, like, you've mentioned a whole bunch of them, like Bilal Muhammad and Jalen Turner and Brian Barberina. I mean, like that guy's a great fighter, and yeah, I think you're right. I'd have Luque handily winning this one, but you never know.
Yeah. Randy Brown, he beat Worley Alves last fight with a triangle choke. He also beat Barberina. He beat Mickey Gall and also a win over Bilal Muhammad. 12-3. Decent record, great. But I think Luque's just got a little bit more experience to get some top level competition. So we'll see there. I'm really looking forward to this lightweight fight.
This is the one I wanted to get to. I was actually, guys, just this is the I love Lando Venata, man.
Yeah, one of your favorite guys, always has been.
I love that guy. You know what I mean? And I'm not usually a big fan of anyone that comes out of Jackson Wink, but Lando Venata is always exciting, and he's always fun to watch, and he's a character in himself. A good guy, and I'm excited to see this. And these guys fought before, I think, to a draw, if I memory serves me correctly. But I'm excited. I mean, look how Bobby Green looked good his last fight. He looked good. He looked fast. He was on point. So this has a potential to be. I just hope these guys don't give each other too much respect, where they don't really want to engage. I hope these guys decide just to go at it, because you look at. Anyone wants to see a good fight, go back and watch Lando Venata versus Al Kukui. I mean, You know,
Tony
that,
Ferguson, yeah.
that,
He almost beat Tony Ferguson,
yeah,
which is, super big shock. That was his.
like,
I think that was his introduction into UFC,
that was
wasn't
his
it?
UFC debut
Yeah,
on like something like a couple days notice, because he was supposed to, Tony Ferguson was supposed to fight Khabib. You know, that was one of the ones that went down. Lando Venata stepped up, and man, today, to this day, that's still, I still, if I ever want to watch a good fight, just to, it's insane, that fight. Awesome fight.
yeah,
I mean, didn't go the
yeah.
distance or anything. You know, he eventually gets caught in a darce or an anaconda. I can't remember which one it was. But he gets caught in that head and arm choker, and that's a good fight.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, look out for this Lando Venata kid. Holy cow! And all of a sudden, wow, what an amazing fight against Tony Ferguson, who's just one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. And
Oh, that
you know,
Makdessi fight. I mean, if
yeah,
you look at Venato's got, like, he's got a couple of Fight of the Night awards, Performance of the Night awards. I mean, he's fun.
yeah, yeah.
And Bobby Green.
Bobby
Sorry,
Green,
go ahead.
yeah. Sorry, Bobby Green. I was just going to mention he beat Clay Guida only on June the 20th, so super quick turnaround for him. He had been struggling, coming up to that fight, but looked super impressive. Just totally dominated Guida and won. I expect it to be a really good war, and it should be a impressive fight between the two guys. But I don't know. I think Lando's probably the better fighter out of the two, and should take the win. But like you say, Bobby Green looked super impressive his last fight.
Yeah, as long as they don't, as long as they don't try, and feel each other. I just hope they just go for it. I mean, they fought each other before, then they should just be able to let their hands loose. And
yeah.
But Lando Venata's just got he's just got so many tools in his toolbox there, that he's outstanding, and great movement on his part. And I would have Venata winning this fight, but I've said that before, and been wrong.
Yeah, well, their previous fight, they did fight to a draw. What happened was Venata landed an illegal knee and got a point taken off. Yeah, got a point taken off. So if he didn't throw that illegal strike, he would have got the decision victory. That was disappointing. But Venata's had 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws in the last 10. So there's not some consistency there, but Groovy
is fun to watch.
Groovy is fun, and he's fought some really great competition. I do agree that Ferguson fight was one of the best fights I've seen in years and years. And please watch it if you haven't seen it. Super great. Let's hope they just decide to just throw it, throw caution to the wind and just go for it, and both of them stand in the middle. Venata's just got such an incredibly crazy style, and the way he can move, it's a lot of fun, and I hope they can do it, make it a stand-up fight, and it should be fun between these two guys.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
anytime Venata's on the card, I love it.
And then the only other fight on the main card is Kevin Holland against Trevin Giles. Anything to mention about these two guys?
I think they both lost to Mearshart in the past. I don't know if it's like kind of a coin toss. I mean, I think Trevor Giles, or I don't know if it's Gile or Giles, but Giles, excuse me. Yeah. He beat James Krause his last time out. So, and Krause is again, that was a split decision. A lot of people had Krause winning that fight. It's hard to say, this is one of those fights where it's hard to pick. Hard to pick him in this one.
You mentioned Gerald Mearshart. He's fighting on the prelims. He's fighting Ed Herman. Ed Herman always short fuse always brings an amazing battle to the cage. That's totally gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean he's another fun guy. Not nearly, doesn't have quite the personality and stuff that guys like Lando Venata and stuff have, but yeah, he's a guy that when he can knock you out, man. He's got some heavy hands, that guy.
Yeah. Anything else from the prelims that stands out? Other than that,
The
Ray
only guy,
Borg fighting.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't. Who's Ray Borg fighting? I don't know that. I don't know that this Nathan
No,
Maines
no, I don't know either.
or
No.
Manis. I don't know. I mean, again, that could be something exciting too. Ray Borg's
Yeah.
always fun,
Mm-hmm.
always fun to watch, and I like when there's a couple of guys on the card that are making their debut or I've never seen before. I get excited because we've seen some great fighters, especially in the last couple of Vegas cards.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
It's funny. We see these new Russian guys or Dagestani guys with their ground and pounds on the Abu Dhabi card, and all the guys that came on the American card were all knocking guys out. So it's fun to see. So I'm hoping we see some good knockouts because those last couple of Vegas cards have been outstanding. And I don't think it has anything to do with the size of the. I mean, do you think it has anything to do with the size of the octagon?
Not at all. No, not at all. No, I don't think that made any difference whatsoever. No. I just think, as we talked about, it was just guys wanted to be impressive in their debuts, and a lot of these guys grow up street fighting. A lot of them grow up fighting outside of bars. They fight in their life, and most of those fights end up being stand-up fights that they fight, and they end up obviously training mixed martial arts and try to become proficient in all disciplines, but they love to just stand and bang with guys, and there were some massive knockouts in those Vegas cards, and I expect a lot of those again. These guys want to put on a good show, impress, and try to get a long contract so they can stay in the show.
And this is the time. I mean, this is the I know the NHL just started their startup is coming soon, but right now this is the only game in town really for any kind of contact sport. So now is the time for these guys to make a statement, and this is great for the sport. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of UFC fans that stick around and continue to watch the sport after this because it's right now it's the only thing going.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, this has been great. They had those cards in Florida, pretty good. The cards in Vegas were just phenomenal, and then all of a sudden they turned to Abu Dhabi, and we saw 4 amazing cards there. And now we're back in Vegas again, and for now they're not putting any restrictions on. It's going to be business as usual, and I'm hoping they keep going. We're obviously anticipating them make trilogy fight in a couple of weeks with. The heavyweight boys, Cormier and Stipe. It's going to be fantastic, but we've got a couple of great cards coming up before that. So, I hope you enjoyed our breakdown today. It was a lot of fun to break down UFC Fight Night 174 and this Brunson versus Shahbazyan. Great fights this past weekend. I'm sure we're going to see a ton of really fun fights coming up. Thanks again, Scott. Anything more you want to add in?
Go watch Tony Ferguson versus Lando Venata. You won't be disappointed. And stop yelling, stop the fight like Adrian and Rocky or Dan Hardy. But I love Dan Hardy. I think he's one of the best. But that blew my mind.
Yeah, well, good way to end it. Yeah, Dan, stick to your job. You're great at your job.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, but just don't take over the referee's job, please. It's not right. It's not fair, and these guys are hearing things coming from outside the cage because no fans, and that put Herb Dean in a bad spot. It actually can put the fighters in a bad spot. So there'll be something coming out of a bit of an investigation, but hope it's just swept under the rug fairly soon. And
I think it was Dan Hardy's either first or second colored analyst job. I can't remember if that was the first one or if that was the second one. So he's not used to having no fans. He used to yelling stuff out. He's wearing headphones. He's lost in the fight, but leave that to Talia Shire and Rocky.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Scott. Great breakdown as usual. Enjoy your week, and we'll be talking to you next weekend for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye. You too. Oh, that was great. Yeah, he's right. Yeah. Forget the Rocky callouts. No, We don't need that. Yeah, sorry there was a bit of controversy, everybody, from that, but yeah, it can happen. You know, these are grown men. They're fighting, and it can get heated. You know, we love Dan Hardy's breakdowns, and he was a really fun fighter in his career. But yeah, please, let the people do their job right. You wouldn't be happy if suddenly people were trying to do your job and moving in on your territory there. So. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed our breakdown today. And Scott Holburn is a fantastic guest as usual. Yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Tell your friends, tell your family. Yeah, keep tuning in every week for these breakdowns. I'm sure we've got UFC cards on and on and on. This is, as Scott said, the only game in town. And we've been really blessed with a ton of really amazing performances. So. All the best. Take care of yourself. Have a really good week, and we will see you very soon. Love you. Bye for now.